Hello my beautiful people, welcome back to another video on the channel. It's a great day we're having, so feel free to get comfortable in your chair, couch, or bed as you listen to me talk for the next 12 minutes. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be doing a One Piece tier list. I feel like this is a video that I was gonna have to make sooner or later. So yeah, hope you guys are ready to hear some of the most based opinions your little ears have ever heard in their lives. As always, go watch the show if you haven't seen it yet to get your own opinion on these arcs. Good luck with that. I'll try to keep this video as spoiler free as possible, but if I do need to use a spoiler in some kind of explanation, then I'll be sure to give an alert before I say it, so you guys should be safe. Here's the actual tier list. Make sure to lock in your own vote and submit them in the comments. Let's do this. Romance Dawn, the introduction to the series where we meet our little protagonist Monkey D. Luffy and get some backstory on his character involving Shanks. Also the arc where we meet Zoro, and that's pretty much it actually. Nothing else really happens here. I can't put it in forgettable because, well, some things in this arc are actually hell of important even today, so I'll put it in mid. Orange Town. This arc was pretty boring, not gonna lie. I wasn't entertained by it at all. Can't really think of anything relevant in this arc apart from a few character introductions, but that's it. It's getting a D tier. Syrup Village. It's a little better than Orange Town, but it still wasn't anything special in my eyes. These fights were probably the goofiest of the entire series though, I'm not gonna lie. I also find it hella funny that Kudo was made to look like some super powerful and dangerous pirate, but now that I'm more than like 1,000 episodes into One Piece, I realized how much of a mere minion he was. Such a sad life for poor little Kudo. Anyway, Syrup Village, I'll give you a C tier. Baratier. Alright, we're starting to see some progress in this series. Much better than our previous arcs, the Baratier did some pretty good things that really started to catapult the series in my opinion. Some great backstories, the fights were a bit more intense, and I mean, come on. My favorite One Piece character was introduced in this arc. You could tell that there was still a lot more progress to be made, but hey, this was better. I'll give it a solid B tier. Arlong Park. Oh, Arlong Park. I freaking love this arc. It is hands down the best arc in the East Blue Saga. Watching this arc was candy to my eyes, bro. Nami's backstory was freaking amazing. The fights were super intense. The story in general was freaking touching as well. So many iconic moments. There is just so much to love about Arlong Park. I'm not gonna say it was perfect, but I did enjoy it a lot. A deserved A tier without a doubt. Logtown. Ah, Logtown. The place where Gold D. Roger was taken for a thorough neck operation. You know, you'd think an arc where the first Pirate King was executed would be a lot more interesting than it was, because it wasn't really that eventful. Sure, a lot of important information was discussed in this arc, and some very important characters were introduced, but all in all, nothing much really happened here. This one I'll give a C tier. Reverse Mountain. Holy shit, we finally made it to the Grand Line. It only took us about like 60 episodes to get here. And we start with Reverse Mountain, a short and simple little arc involving Laboon the Whale. It was a very short arc that served as sort of a gateway for the whole Alabasta saga. It's another C tier though. Whiskey Peak. To me, an arc so forgettable that I always forget what the happened whenever I go back to talk about it. Seriously, I can't think of anything important in this arc apart from Vivi's introduction and the whole weird numbered day and holiday system. I'm giving this a D tier. Little Garden. God, the early parts of Alabasta weren't really the strongest, were they? So this is to me another boring arc that went by without too much happening. We get some insight on the giants of Elbath and some more powerful enemies, but again, not really that much to look forward to. Another D tier. Drum Island. Finally, a decent arc. This was one of those arcs that tugged on your heartstrings a lot. It wasn't the most action-packed arc, but it was definitely an arc that I like looking back at every now and then. I definitely enjoyed it. I'll give it a B tier. Alabasta. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, we start getting into the good shit, the big boy arcs. This arc was very memorable. The fights were intense and the emotions of this arc were spread out very nicely. I mean, Crocodile is one of my favorite villains in One Piece. I just think that his manipulation and his menacing presence was something to really consider. There are some parts of this arc that I think could have definitely been done better, but overall, it was definitely a memorable arc. A tier. Jaya. After Alabasta, you wouldn't expect an arc like Jaya that comes right after it to make much of an impact, but you'd actually be wrong. I thought it was a very well written arc that did a lot of things that could be referenced later on in the show. Not saying that it was the best, but it definitely wasn't bad. I'll give it a B tier. Skypiea. This arc isn't really known for being that much of an action-packed, holy shit, this is amazing type of arc. But I still look back at this arc fondly because to this day, I still consider Skypiea to be one of the funniest and goofiest arcs in One Piece. I couldn't take this arc seriously. I'll give it a B tier though. Long Ring Long Land, or as I like to call it, Triple L plus ratio arc. Much like Whiskey Peak, I completely forgot that this arc even existed until my brother got to it. Fucking hell, what a piece of horse dookie this was. This is the default pick for the worst arc in One Piece for a lot of people, and for very good reason. It's freaking ass, with its only purpose being to introduce a really important character for the future. Without a doubt, Dick Butt tier. Water 7. This is an arc that a lot of people consider to be the main hooker of the series, and boy do I stand by this claim. Water 7 was something I absolutely cherished. This is where the series completely catapults. You get to this arc, and then all of a sudden you're in Dressrosa within a month, and it was only made better by the arc that comes directly after it. I'm giving Water 7 an A tier. Enies Lobby. Oh man, Enies Lobby. What can I say about you? This is definitely my favorite arc in One Piece, without a doubt. I really love this arc from start to finish. It was so memorable and so amazing that I can't describe it with words. It was something you can only feel if you watch it for yourself. But for those who have watched it, you know the parts I'm talking about. I Want to Live, the declaration of war, all the Straw Hats standing in front of Robin, Luffy versus Lucci, Robin's backstory. It's just absolutely amazing no matter where you look. It is the arc that has had the most impact on me without a doubt. This is an easy masterpiece. Post Enies Lobby. I don't really consider this an arc. It's just kind of the aftermath of Enies Lobby. The new bounties, the introduction of Garp, and just overall what happened after that altercation. So there isn't really a rating I could give it. I'll just give it a B tier though. Thriller Bark. Well. Some of the OGs might know how I feel about this one, but for those who don't know, we are getting off to what I think was the best arc in One Piece to what I think is the worst arc in One Piece. I did not like this arc, not even a little bit. It's not even forgettably boring. I vividly remember being bored out of my mind watching this shit. It's the worst setting in the show, it has the least interesting plot, and also to me the worst character in One Piece. There are only two things in this arc that were memorable, but other than that, get out of my face. F tier. Sabaody Archipelago. The arc where we actually get to see some hopelessness. This is the arc that really gives us a clue of what the adversary is all about, and it also gives us some hints as to what some of the characters are looking to achieve. This is also the arc where we get introduced to something called the Worst Generation, which is basically just the new generation pirates like Luffy. And we also get to see the most satisfying punch in all of anime. This is an A tier without a doubt. Amazon Lily. This is the bad bitch arc.
How many bitches? 100,000 bitches. I do love bitches.
It's not my favorite, but it's not my least favorite either. It served as a good bridge from Sabaody to Impel Down. I'll give it a B tier. Impel Down, the site of one of the most secure prisons known in the world of One Piece. This arc was so hype and suspenseful. It was also, I guess, one of the more fan service type arcs, as it brought back a lot, and I mean a lot, of familiar faces. I was at the edge of my toes the entire time. I loved it. A tier. Marineford. Here we go. The arc I'm sure 99.978% of you were waiting for. Honestly, what do I even have to say about this arc that hasn't already been said? If Long Ring Longland is considered the default worst arc, then Marineford is considered the default best arc, and for very good reason. This arc literally plays with every single theme, emotion, and fight that is in the existing world. No arc is unanimously loved more than Marineford. This is probably the easiest S tier I'm ever gonna give in my life. Post-war. To be honest, the post-war where we feature a long flashback and some training from the Straw Hat crew was kind of on the boring side for me. This is mainly due to a massive hot take that I have about One Piece that I will be making a video on at some point in the future. But for now, I'm dropping the post-war at a sloppy D tier. Return to Sabaody. Not 3D, but 2Y later, and we are back at the Sabaody Archipelago to retake the main journey of the Straw Hat crew to find the One Piece. It wasn't as eventful or fun as the first Sabaody arc, as it only really served one purpose, and that was to reunite the entire Straw Hat crew. So I'll give this arc a C tier. Fishman Island. An island at the bottom of the ocean. How does that make sense? I don't know, but it makes just as much sense as having an island in the sky, so we're just gonna go along with it. This isn't the most well-received arc in One Piece by the fandom, and I gotta say, I don't understand why. I thought Fishman Island was fine. Sure, it wasn't the most amazing arc ever, but I certainly found it to be enjoyable. You know what? F you guys, I'm putting it in B tier. Punk Hazard. This was another arc that wasn't really the best, but I still found it to be really entertaining. It's also the arc where we start to get a feel for the new generation, and get some really ambitious goals thrown out there as well. Although there is one thing that bothers me about this arc that I don't ever seem to remember getting an answer to. Who the through this piece of paper? Is this a mystery that we're supposed to solve ourselves, or does it subtly see the answers somewhere? I swear that this shit bothers me to this day. Leave a comment if you know who threw it. Anyway, Punk Hazard, I'm giving you a B tier. Dressrosa. Alright, we're getting into this Dynamax of an arc. This is an arc that has a lot to take in. It was really good though. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with Dressrosa throughout most of the time. There's not really much more I could say about Dressrosa. It was just a well-rounded and solid arc that also featured my favorite villain of the series. So I'm giving it a comfortable A tier. Zoe, a small bridge arc that served as a passageway to get into the next arc. It wasn't the most eventful arc, but I guess this was the best of like the bridge arcs that served to transition from one big arc to another. It was an arc that really made you worry about what was going to happen in the next two behemoths that were on the horizon. I'll give this arc a B tier. Whole Cake Island, the arc that nearly became my favorite in One Piece, and because of one thing I absolutely hated, I have to devalue it. I loved everything about this arc. It was all perfectly written, the timing of every event was spot on, the stakes felt so dire that I was munching on my nails the entire time, but one boo-boo made this arc not be my favorite. If you want to know the reason, let me know down below in the comments and I'll make a separate video on Whole Cake Island altogether. I know damn well that a lot of you would be shocked as to what it is that I hate so much. It pains me so much to have to do this, but I'm dropping Whole Cake Island to an A tier because I can't with good conscience put this arc in the S tier. I'm sorry. Revere, a small arc giving us insight on a meeting held with all of the world leaders. This wasn't an eventful arc, but I wasn't expecting it to be. This arc holds a lot of importance to what the future of One Piece's story will look like, and it was short, sweet, and to the point, so I do appreciate that. I'll give this arc a C tier. Wano Country, the arc that I think should be relatively close to finishing, but my god, what a ride it has been since the beginning. This is an arc that has the potential to be up there with the greats once it finishes. I'm talking about the anime, by the way. I haven't read the manga. While the anime still hasn't finished Wano, I don't expect it to be an S tier, but I could be wrong. I don't know. For now, I'll give it an A tier, but it could change. We're just gonna have to see. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this has been my One Piece arc tier list. Make sure to get a good look at it. Take a photo of it if you have to. Let me know down below how utterly dog shit you think my tier list is, and tell me what you would change. Make sure to like and subscribe completely for free. Make sure you check out my Mal link in the description if you have any videos you want me to make. This has been your boy, The Anime. Peace out, you dorkwads.